Hey you guys, how are you doing? Casper here with an update that is very different compared to what we normally do. I will go through a lot of the silver and gold stocks that we are looking at. We have a ton, but we are going to look at it a bit differently, which I like to do sometimes on this channel, looking at Renko charts. I think Renko is a fantastic tool. If you want to look at things differently, be really good at Renko and you will smash the markets. We also look at weird ratios, and then we do some funky, indicators. In this case, we have my own homemade momentum indicator, which is actually very simple when you look at it, but I think it works. So we're going to look at that and see, just how strong the silver stocks are looking. We're looking at, can we find looking back entries given on momentum alone? Just sometimes you get some really good setups on the momentum chart, and sometimes you don't, but sometimes you do. And we will also look at silver, of course, with that momentum on the daily. I find that very, very, very interesting. And then we're just going to go through it. So we will not be looking at price. We're looking at purely momentum, purely momentum. Um, don't forget to check out the Substack here that we do on a daily basis, trying to navigate this insane, weird commodity bull market that is that can be very tricky. But we are trying to maximize the gains and also Substack here, excuse me, on X, very close to that 10K. That would be so nice to reach, even though it doesn't mean anything. But again, to 10K followers, that's a huge accomplishment in my book. Firstly, we're going to look at silver and we're going to look at momentum. So remember, this is only momentum. I will not go into details how it's done. It's fairly simple, but again, I will not go into details. But what we can see here is a 5-year momentum structure on the daily. Look at that. Again, it's quite beautiful. Again, if this was a chart, you would be buying this heavily whenever we broke here. So this tells me that if silver can punch through here, we are going to see some really steep inclines on the silver price because we're already going up and all momentum is going up. So if we break out from here, means we are breaking out from the averages on the chart and we're going to go very steeply higher. So very interesting. If we can clear roughly 20 here, then we're going to go back to the highs up here, meaning a vastly higher outperformance by the price compared to, in this case, the 200-day moving average. Very, very interesting here. This could be a big pivot moment for silver when it comes to increasing, the angle or the momentum to the upside, which we already in a raging bull market. So this is it here, guys, for silver. Let's look at the weekly here on the silver stocks. Again, some charts we will skip very quickly, but some we won't. Some on some charts you can find some structures that, of course we're looking a little bit in hindsight, but and some is still, within building. But again, you can see down here, for instance, right? Again, that breakout from that structure here, right? Look at that, April 2024 on the weekly momentum. So that's even more long-term than the daily. You had a breakout, you did a back test, and we are now in a raging bull market for aftermath. So again, and you can see over here breaking down from a structure, right? That is devastating as well. So you can find these little pockets of extra, confirmation to your charting. Abra has has basically been in a bull market roughly ever since it's got IPO'd, roughly. But you can see here as well. This was when we also turned really bullish, right? Back in April 2024, when we bought Abra at like $2 and it's at 6.5 now. So the break of this structure here, again, looking at momentum, was like, hey, yeah, momentum also, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And you can see we have gone up ever since. So just because we go sideways here doesn't mean that we're going to go sideways in price. It's just in relation to the already upsloping 200 weekly. AEM here We're not gonna go too far back because it's a stock that goes far back. But look at this one here, right? Again, you can see here, it's not perfect, but you can definitely get the idea that this wedge here, playing around, just oscillating around the 200 weekly, March 2024 was a massive buying opportunity in AEM. And that is also when it broke out to its all-time highs, by the way. And you can see we have just been outperforming the average so much here by like 100%. Just gone up, 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 and yeah, what a killer entry that would have been. Again, same thing over here in 2019, right? We actually started to break out just before the COVID hit, but we actually broke out and had 2 years of really lovely stuff. Again, same thing here in 16, right? You can see these structures getting set up very often here. On AG, you can see here again going back to 2019. Look at that again. Big breakout here in 2019. And we actually had 2 years worth of really good gains in really, really good gains actually in First Majestic. Of course, with the COVID dump there, but overall you can see we had a very green period after that. Lately here, that there hasn't been a whole lot of structures, but you can see at least this floor here. Now floor, before it was a ceiling, we broke out there in June, and now we're actually looking very comfortable, outperforming. The price is outperforming the average, looking really good for First Majestic. And you can see we're into some resistance here. So of course, when that gives in, even better, right? We're actually peaking above this week. So AGX. Look at this, a huge bear market basically since its IPO. It has just gone down, 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 all red. But we are actually crossing over now. And also price-wise, it looks very interesting on price. So let's see what it does. But we could get the first green bar here or area here very soon. And whatever pullback we get after that, that is your buying opportunity. Alta. There's not a whole lot of things going on here. Maybe you have some structures here. I'll actually take that. It's quite neat. We have the structure there, and we were actually having 2 really good weeks here, and Alta is just blasting to the upside. But overall, you can see for 20 years it has gone down. We had a little bit of a green, bullish mode here, but other than that, not a whole lot, right? Avino, no real structures per se, so we will not do that. Again, sometimes you get structures, sometimes you don't. Uh, Anglo, not really. Here we have Orion AU. You can see again here, February 2025, which was also where we bought it actually, on the Substack. Momentum-wise, breaking out with a little pennant below. Excuse me, guys. With a little pennant here below before the breakout point. Getting into the green after a wedge breakout. Lovely. And finally now we're getting, these very big green candles finally. So we had 2 flags here, and now we're going. AU, Orion, looks really good. Not gonna lie here. Both momentum-wise, just getting started, but also, what's it called? On price as well. Right. Aya Gold, what do we have here? Not a whole lot, really. That's not a whole lot that we can use. Again, it's fine. Sometimes you get really perfect setups and sometimes you don't. Um, Barrick Gold here. Not a whole lot, We're just going to look at the very clean ones. The very, very clean ones. Sometimes, again, you really get the... This is BRC. Again, not the most picture perfect, but you could see here we started to break out from the low side here. From negative, right? Getting back above, and then we both flagged back testing momentum. And boom, we have gone up ever since. So that is also really good confirmation. And BRC, weekly long-term momentum, it looks really darn good. Getting into some cluster here, we have a gap there as well, but overall, I don't mind really. It looks really good. BTG. Oh yeah, look at this one here on PTG. Again, I'm coming in almost blind here. You can just see again, meaning I haven't done, the technicals on most of them. Again, look at this bit of a funky breakout here, bit of noise, but once we started to really clear the zero line, BTG is looking really good with the breakout back to stuff the 200 weekly as well here. So that is again huge structure getting broken. This is 4 years. So BTG long term looks really, really good, doesn't it? It looks really good. So yeah, CDE. If we look at it very long term here, you can see we have basically spent most of our time in a big, big bear market. You can see if you compare the red areas to the green, you can clearly see that the red is definitely just by far the best, right? I mean, has been uh, of the most compared to the green. But now again, we're seeing some again the move back above, back testing going higher, and remember CDE again we've bought that heavily just recently. You can see we're getting above these highs here on the fourth break. So next target is somewhere around here. So we have a little bit more to go, but I'm expecting to be in the green from momentum wise here for 5 years as an average, heavily in the green compared to red. Massive, massive uptrend right now for CDE. No, not really. This is CEF, a mixture of gold and silver, the Sprott Physical. That definitely were some signs again back in March that silver and gold was about to run, right? You can see that on momentum. The internal break here. And then do we have something going on here as well? Yeah, you can see some breakage on the 4th as well in April 2025. Again, silver and gold really doing nice, nice things. And we're actually now also breaking this little wedge here. So silver and gold in a combination. In this case, it's on the Sprott Physical. Looks pretty darn good, right? And you can actually also do a safety line here. So whenever we cross below that one, it doesn't mean that that is over. It just means that we're going to correct against the momentum in order to recharge. This over here, that is really big bear markets, right? These, when you start to really get this is bear market. This here, you can see we had some really big pullbacks in gold and silver. This is 2004 and 5. But during this period for those 10 years, both went up, immensely. So just because we get a pullback, again, it doesn't mean that that is it. It just means that we are pulling back against momentum recharging in order to go higher. Whereas these, they can be really bad. Also, look at this one here. Just noted that one there. Perfect wedge. Perfect wedge. July 2019. That was actually when gold started to move higher into its at that point all-time highs. Really sick wedge pattern there. Wow. CERT, we don't have much data. We will not look at that. Defiance, I have huge hopes for Defiance, and I think it's going to be one of the really good performing assets in silver and gold. Not yet, but you can see here we're just winding up. This here, guys, is just a one big wind up. One big wind-up structure around momentum. Momentum is basically zero. This here, price just oscillating around momentum or the 200 weekly. That is basically just energy being built up. So whenever this one breaks here, we are gonna see, we're gonna go all the way back up to here, where right now we're basically zero. I mean, we have the same price as the 200 weekly, but when this is all over, I could see the price be 200% over um, the weekly at that point in time. Remember, the weekly will go up during that period. So Defiance will hopefully be one massive call within 2025. And I can't wait to add more to that stock, really. I just can't wait. Here we have Dolly Varden. Has done okay-ish, but not really. No, been a little bit of iffy. Um, if I remember correctly, again, we're not looking at price here. But again, this is a 5-year wedge, right? Mostly in the green, right? Meaning the price has gone up. Basically, we have just had a few in the red where we are, underperforming. But when this whole thing breaks out, again, you know the idea. If this was a stock, you would be buying that breakout. Again, remember, these are just drawn very quickly, so you could maybe do that instead. It might be better, but you get the idea that momentum is very close to actually breaking some weekly stuff on Dolly Varden as well. This is DRD, actually a stock that we have been buying, right? But from momentum point of view, we don't really have anything clear to go by. Again, we're still heavy green here, which is nice. Has actually been green since March 2023. And you can see we have a like a ceiling here in momentum where we are 135% over. I expect that to be resistance, so that is probably the next magnet. But overall, yeah, we're looking quite good, printing green, basically into 4-year highs on momentum. Yeah, equity metals, very noisy, very, very noisy. And the chart has been really difficult for us to get correct. I'm not gonna lie, that one has been a pain. So not a whole lot going on here. Just we are in the green, but you can't see. We just can't seem to escape um, the pulling of the 200 weekly. We can't seem to escape the gravity, right? We need to break back above here before we have escaped. So FSM here on the weekly, not a whole lot. Again, oh, there were some structure here. I kind of like this bottom thing here, back testing. So that is a really cool thing. Maybe we have again a trend line going across here. Yeah, again, that is actually quite cool. The breakout, and then we back test the 200 weekly, and we just kept bouncing off it. Very green. FSM looks really good as we stand today. Resistance-wise, momentum, it's close by. We are now at what, 70-ish, and at 80 something, you get the momentum resistance getting hit at that point in time. Fury. Huge bear market, basically for 5 years. Not a whole lot to do on that chart. GGG, that is go gold. From momentum wise, you don't really get a whole lot down here. You can see the big breakdown, the bear market here. You can see the head and shoulder. That was basically game over. So not a whole lot going on there, even though the chart looks quite good. Gold, I assume this is Barrick Gold. I could be wrong though. No, that's Gold Mining Incorporated, my bad. That's not Barrick. But you can see here momentum has actually broken a really big structure down here. Ideally, you have the breakpoints above while you are in the green because that means you already have momentum, right? So you not having that pullback or pushback. But this one here is quite good. And yeah, we're about to print some green momentum here shortly. GPAC, that is Great Pacific Gold Corp. Since the IPO, just bear market, bear market, bear market. You have some daily stuff as well, so you maybe not. But on the weekly, at least, before we start to see the weekly momentum getting printed, you can see we have here, this is the one to break. Head and shoulder on momentum. And yes, you can use that as a measured move. It should take us to here, which should take us into green territory. So very shortly, again, if we break this neckline, that is a huge breakout in momentum on the stock here, and we should have a fairly big bounce before we get the pullback. So that looks really interesting. GPG. You can see we're fighting with the 200 weekly. We need to trade above that before anything. And I will say, oh, look at this. That is beautiful. That is basically, again, we want to break here, the horizontal, the 200 weekly, and then break momentum. So within a few, like 10% or so, we're getting a big, big breakout in GPG. So if you have some bullishness to that chart on your own, again, remember within 10-15% momentum breaks out heavily, and that should help. That looks really, really interesting. GRSL, not a whole lot to do there. This is Hot Bay, yeah. Again, not a whole lot going on here. We did have something down here, right? Breaking into the bull market, and we have been green ever since. You can also see that whenever we get to these highs here, right, the momentum highs, right, bit of overshooting there, but you get the idea. That is resistance until we can break that. So big weekly, has been good ever since, so we're not going to look at that. Remember, it takes like 4 years to start printing 200 weekly momentum. So if the stock is not that old, we will not get it. This is Hecla. From a momentum point of view on the weekly, there's not a whole lot, right? Other than we can see that there are some ceilings. Remember, Hecla is very, very bullish as of now. So, and you can see momentum here definitely into 3-year highs. Heliostar, just checking here, not a whole lot. It's basically oscillating, not a whole lot going on there. Um, not something important there as well. Again, we're just going to go through them all here. Sometimes you get really clear structures. KTN here, huge bear market, but we might be breaking out here, from negative to positive momentum. Pure gold, weekly, just pure bear market. Again, daily, it's different, of course, but weekly, for now at least, we're not there. But you can also see we have actually broken some stuff here, right? You can see the breakout there in June. So again, at least breaking the structure. Meanwhile, we are in the red, meaning it still has stuff to do, but that is a pretty damn good start. This is MAC Silver. You can see the bull flag here. That's quite cool. Having a bull flag on momentum, right? May 2025. And that MAC has actually gone way higher. Target, momentum-wise, I think we're going to see some resistance once we are at roughly 100% above. Now we are at like 66, so there's still ways to go for this one. This one here, though, I love. That wedge around the zero mark. Ooh, that is gorgeous. That is in 2016. That is actually quite insane. And we had a huge spike. I think it did like 10x or so. MGG on this, again, not picture perfect, but I'm just noticing these three highs here with that little bull flag at the end. Depending on how you draw this, again, maybe it could be here. Yeah, this is better. You take that point and that point. MGG, boys and girls, looks incredible when it comes to momentum right now. Also, the chart is getting confirmed. The breakout here, the back testing, grinding higher. MGG looks, this one could go on for a long time, a very, very long time. I'm not gonna lie, that looks incredible. MGG, that is Manorium Gold. I might have to buy more. Man, that is insane. This is MKO, also a stock that we bought. Yeah, we did buy this one like a few months ago. I can't remember the exact entry, timing wise, date wise, but we are also breaking some pretty hefty 10-year momentum here, right? And we had this little bull flag there as well. So this looks really, really darn good. We bought it here, by the way, January 2025 at 3.7. We are now at 6.5. And there's more to come. We have a target of 8 and potentially higher after that. But yeah, this is momentum just 101. Perfect. Metalla, good old Metalla here, has underperformed quite heavily compared to other peers. But yeah, you could see there were some initial breakage down here. Not picture perfect, but we're starting to print green. That is always good. Newfound gold. Again, remember, this is weekly and it takes 4 years to generate. You can see the price starting here, right? That's the IPO. So we have to wait 4 years for the momentum to start to print. Could we make an excuse here? Maybe if I'll take that. That's actually quite fine. Still heavily in the red momentum wise, but we are definitely breaking some structures down here, getting a little bit of a move to the upside there. That is still good to see. OCG, which we bought just recently. Yeah, just getting above the highs here. You can see we're actually getting above, this is the highs for the past 5 years. We are breaking that today or this week. Perfect. And we actually, I think it was yesterday. So that is one for you guys. Yesterday we said you can buy OCG. It's ready to go. And momentum tells me the exact same thing. So that is a freebie for you. OCG, I find that very, very good here. Also here, once we break that one, even better, right? Even better. Prim, also a stock that we own. And momentum-wise, I can see, again, look at this one here. It's just perfect. I love to see when things just align. This is 2023, 24, 25, breaking on the fourth. And we are printing green after that. We are going to go way higher in momentum. And that's good because we are involved. When did we buy this one? We bought it here at roughly 1.9. So that is actually right around here. So even before the momentum told us, right, we were buying that one. Really good. Ola, Ola. This one catches my eye straight away, right? We have the breakout, the back tests over here, and Ola has just been green, 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 green ever since. And what's happening now is again against the 200 weekly. It doesn't mean the price goes down, but we are definitely charging up for something bigger here. You can see price is going sideways, but the 200 weekly is outperforming it. Therefore, you get the slope to the downside. Just look at this beautiful one here. That entry, I didn't take that because I didn't know about the stock at the time. But what an entry. Holy, that's a big entry. So now we're just charging up here. And whenever this energy gets released, we are going to go higher. And we could go to, 30, 25 to 30 upon that whole pole flag breakout thing. All that looks in really strong. Radisson, remember we bought this big time, right? And this is actually right there. The chart is all was completely reset at that point in time, like a 2-year wedge, and we bought it here on the chart. Not for momentum because I didn't have it at that point in time, but that is, and we have been green ever since. And we're basically at all-time highs, maximum momentum at this moment in time. So let's see how high it can take us. But yeah, what a gorgeous entry. Sand, what do we have here on sand? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, really. Getting close to this high here in 2020, which can act as a resistance from a momentum point of view. Santa Cruz, yeah, again, bought this heavily. Haven't looked back ever since. Are we getting a little bit stretched here? Potentially. We are just very, very far away from the 200 weekly. But yeah, let's see. We are heavy green. So if we start to do this, for instance, right, it doesn't mean that the price is going to do that. It could be price going sideways, only to re-engage, right? So yeah, Snowline Gold. Oh, this one is cool. This one is very, very cool. I wish we had more, but again, this one here, look at this one. We are heavy in green, right? This is Snowline Gold. Heavy, heavy green, and you're having this very large wedge pattern. When this breaks to the upside, all hell breaks loose to the upside for Snowline Gold, if it can do that. Of course, a breakdown is not good, but a break to the upside here on the fourth attempt, that's going to be massive for Snowline Gold. SUP, also a lovely, lovely stock that we bought heavily into. You can see here, again, this high here, we're breaking. Could that be some sort of funky head and shoulder? I will say yes. And we are printing heavy green now. That's a lot more to come. And as long as you're basically in the green as a default, you don't have any worries. As a default, of course. You can get, let's say we do this, right? If we start to break that stuff, then we want to get out because we are in for a bigger correction. Then we want to wait for some sort of re-entry. So you can use it to the upside as well. WRN. Can't we find something here? I don't think so. Not a whole lot. Maybe something here, but might be a little bit too sought for, right? But yeah. SVM? No, not a whole lot. Just straight off the bat here. You could see something over here back in 2019. But other than that here, you're just having funky stuff going on. Um, Not a whole lot here, to be honest. And then yellow cake, that's uranium. So a long video, but I really like this tool and I wanted to show you that, hey, momentum can be used as, an extra tool. And it's basically one of the only indicators that I would use, right? You could see here on yellow cake, for instance, that downtrend break, April 2025. That was your moment to get in from a momentum point of view. And how does it look on price? Let's check. That is right around here. So even before we were breaking the yellow here, momentum said, hey, I'm actually ready to go. And you can see we are breaking out and actually doing some head and shoulders as well here on yellow cake. And anything north of 550 looks immensely bullish, just immensely bullish on yellow cake. So that's a little extra, gift, whatever, even though it's not gold. But that is, again, look at this momentum spike down here. Huge entry, momentum-wise. And over here as well, right? You can just see how clear it is, basically. Look at that. So clear. Again, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. And remember, please follow me here on Twitter. We do funky stuff. Hopefully we benefit. And then we have, of course, the Substack where we find the good stocks, right? To maximize the gains, hopefully, in this bull market. So I have nothing more. Have an amazing day as always. Bye, guys.